Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In the Zone. Pete Coles, Rich Sutter, the dynamic duo of the hoop world. Here we are, folks, right in the middle of the thick of things, right where you love it, right where we love it. Season's begun, everything's popping. It's so easy to put the show together these days because there's just so much going on right now. We did want to have a usual debt of gratitude to all of our viewers and listeners. We had an amazing week last week. Viewership, really appreciate all of you. And stay with us because it's going to get better. We start off each show with Pete's Corner. Pete formulates, postulates, and coagulates 3 questions for me. And I try and do the best I can to fend them off, although Pete's been on a roll lately.
All right. I think I got a softball for you because I think I know the answer.
I hope so.
Did the government shutdown affect the NBA or the NCAA in any significant way?
The government shutdown. How many days was that? 40-something days?
Yeah, it was
back.
Insane.
They're back, and nobody missed them. Nobody really missed them. So did it impact anything except those poor people that weren't getting paid?
Correct.
I don't think so. There was a couple of staggering things that came out of that whole stalemate there, with the amount of money that goes to insurance companies and all this other stuff. But I don't think it affected anything in the hoop world. I think we remained unscathed. You know, been a good week. College basketball, I want to take them to task a little bit. They need better games to start the year. The cupcakes and the cannolis, I get it. You can always pick them up in game 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Mid-season cupcakes.
Right. Let's pick some up, some real good games to start this year off, to kick the year off. Right now, everybody's salivating. Everybody's waiting for college basketball, and then you get, Duke playing Army at Army. Honorable for Coach Krzyzewski. Great moment in college basketball. But, it wasn't competitive. Wasn't a good game. So we need to get more of those marquee games up. I think the NBA got a little bit of that. They started off this year, OKC Thunder and Houston. A little bit of a crystal ball there, but Houston closed very strong last year. So they're putting 2 of the best teams in the West Conference, and I guess who they thought would be 2 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And I would urge the NCAA to do a little bit more of that as well.
My wife and I were watching the Connecticut game. It was on Fox Sports 1 the other day. And she was like, oh, they're playing really well. I said, yeah, against the cupcake. And she goes, what does that mean? So I explained it to her, and she's like, oh.
Yeah, once the reality of the world hits into the whole thing, it becomes a little different. But I will say one thing about let's say 2 things about it. Number 1, Danny Hurley's level of intensity is something to behold. Whether you like the guy or you don't, his level of intensity is something to behold.
Oh, it's a hell of a show.
Because they're up 48-5 over UMass Lowell the other night, and there's a timeout where he's covering his mouth, and you can see he's going wild. What could you be saying at that moment when you're up 48-5 and your team's done basically everything you possibly could have told them? What he was telling them is this is a good start, but we get paid at the 40-minute mark. We got to finish this thing. We got to keep going. Don't let up, because what a coach has to really guard against is that human element that comes in, and they look at the scoreboard and go, it's 48-5, game's over. And then the game, it might still be over because you have a 40-point lead in the first 7 minutes of the game, first 10 minutes of the game. But the play diminishes from that point on out, and that's what a coach doesn't want to see. He wants to see his team, regardless of the scoreboard, carry out the game plan, keep pushing, execute, and be strong for the full 40 minutes, because that's where they're going. They got St. John's coming. If you look at UConn's schedule coming up, there are no cupcakes for the next month. They are going into the Malachi crunch, as they say. He's going to have a really difficult time holding it together during this stretch, but I give him kudos, Coach Hurley and staff, kudos for taking on such an ambitious schedule. I think when they get to the Big East, there's a lot of teams that are just going to dissolve there. The bottom of the Big East looks terrible right now. DePaul, Seton Hall, Xavier, some of those teams are down. Some of those teams are way down. And Providence, Georgetown, the teams that are filling up the middle aren't any better. So what you have really is a 2-horse race in a lot of these conferences where you see Duke and Louisville going to bounce it out in the ACC. In the Big East, you're going to see the same thing. It's going to be St. John's and UConn. After what I saw happen to Creighton the other night at the hands of Gonzaga, boy, they dismantle Creighton, and you don't see that often. So I think the NBA is, off to
You
a
are all
decent start.
riled up to today, aren't you?
I am, and the NCAA, they could do better, but they're off to a pretty good start. They're off to a pretty good start as well. I like what I've seen.
So have you started your games yet?
We have not.
You have not. So
Mañana.
what is life like in the this week in a Division III household? What's your life like this week?
We open this week. It's mayhem. Nobody's allowed to talk to me. Nobody in my house talks to me on game day. That's kind of a rule we have. If there's something like, hey, Rich, the house is on fire, that's when you can come in and really rock my world. But, most of the time my girls are great. They stay away. They get to the games. They cheer. They support. But they stay away from me on game day because they've learned over the years I get a little edgy on game day. I can be a little bit tight on game day. And my ability to communicate with others diminishes on game day because my focus just kind of envelopes into that moment, into that game, and what I got to do. So everything else, it's kind of I've always thought it was a little bit of a gift that I had. I think people from the outside looking in don't see it quite that way, but it's been this hyper focus that I have in the moment of what I need to do in that moment, and that's what starts now. That's what process starts now. But from a Division III coaching perspective, I'm going to be on the recruiting road tonight. We practiced early this morning. In the zone at noon. I'm on a recruiting trip right after this down to New York. I'll come home. We play Friday. We play Saturday. And then a new gig that I'm taking on, I'm going to be doing some of the color commentary for the UMass basketball team, both men and women. And so my first assignment is against Central Connecticut, who's coming off a huge upset win over Boston College. So I'm excited about that game as well. But right now, there's no question that I've bitten off more than I can chew, Pete. No question about that. We're just going to put our head down and fight through it. It's all you can do right now.
All right. So the final question kind of dovetails on that one. Is there any more teaching you can do at this point, or is it just reacting to what you're seeing in a game situation?
The teaching never stops because we're about to get some lessons based upon empirical evidence that we didn't have before, which is an opponent. We had a couple of scrimmages. That gave us some good evidence, but you're never going to find it in practice. You got to light it up. You got to play the games, and you got to see where your strengths and attributes are, and you need to find your liabilities and weaknesses and hide them as best you can until the team catches up with the coach. A coach should always be in front of his team in terms of it's like a professor. Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of treat my job. And it's one of the reasons I've become at least a lot more quiet on the sidelines during the game, a lot more controlled, a lot more zen, I hope, on the sidelines because I'm a professor. I'm giving an exam that day, and I can't be up screaming and ranting and raving. I need to be making mental notes of what doesn't my team know? Where are their knowledge deficiencies, and how do I fill that in?
So you're taking notes during the game to make adjustments?
Always mental notes during the game to say there may be some adjustments I got to make right then. But there may be some adjustments that come later, such as personnel adjustments. Guy came out and played great off the bench. Maybe you think about starting him. A guy came out and he was on your starting lineup, but he didn't play real well in his first couple of games. You might think about benching him. So there's personnel decisions. There's, for us, it's an X and O decision also because I like to climb into what the other team is doing, and that's in our scouting piece where we're really looking at what the opponents are doing, trying to figure them out and give our players a little bit of an edge up if we can. So it's a busy time, but that's what I've always loved about it. There's never a moment right now where my phone's not ringing, my brain's not ringing, or something isn't ringing in relation to basketball. And it's great, it's beautiful. And then when you get done with it, you go to the end of the season and there's this huge adrenaline letdown that just kind of seeps from your body. And that's usually best done, I believe, in Florida on the beach with a drink with an umbrella in it.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, you have to learn how to decompress in this business. I talked about it with the players. You have to have them decompress as well over time and be scheduled and be really, really sequential about that time. But they've got to have that decompression time, and I believe coaches need that too. I think it's with any career because this year my routine is I usually do the World Series, and I didn't have that this year. And by the time I hit my wedding, I was dragging. I was a hurting unit because I didn't have that decompression time over the summer that I normally have. It really does matter. It really does matter. And I think that's if something, people would take outside, extraneous to basketball, you would say we all need to slow down, calm down, and recharge the battery and really, really get it going again. Because it's in those moments when we really, really get down where we find it. That's when our weaknesses show, and that's when we start to, not be at our best self. So it really does take an inordinate amount of time to care for yourself, especially during the basketball season. And I will say that I learned a lot from Jack Curran, who was my mentor in New York about this, because he was a great, great proponent of, after every single game that we had on the road or whether it was at home, we went to an Italian restaurant after that game, somewhere in Brooklyn, Queens, the best places in and we just let it go. The game was over. We're going to enjoy a meal. We might talk about the game at the meal, but it was in a very, very relaxed, At Malloy, we were 25-2, Yeah. So all of those dinners were just great reminiscence of, okay, this is what we practiced. This is how it came to light. And then what do we want to do next with them? Because there's always that growth process with teams, always. And that's the reason coaches get into it. They see that growth. They see it. If you're a coach and you've been in it a while, you know that February is everything. You know that culmination in February is everything. So whatever you do now has got to be prepared towards get you to February in one piece. So whether it's injuries, scheduling, just the way you go about your practice sessions, everything matters right now, and you really need to be calculated and, as I said, sequential with it. We're going 2.5 hours in the beginning of the year. We have a game tomorrow. We were an hour and a half this morning.
Yeah.
You got to rest the legs, keep everybody fresh.
Just work out the kinks, right? Now
Absolutely.
You're doing scenarios. You're not really doing heavy drills. You're not doing stuff like that. You're just doing, hey, this is what you're looking for in this spot.
Yeah. And this team I have this year, every team's different, but this team I have this year doesn't really like to turn it off. They really love the go of it. They love to compete and practice with each other. They love to get up and down. They love to go. So I have to really measure that.
You got to rein them in, right? You're running the reins now on them.
You let them in, you let them out, you let them in, you let them out. Sometimes you take your blue team or the guys who are playing the most minutes and you sit them on the sideline and you let your guys who aren't getting a lot of minutes, you let them go up and down and you let them stay fresh just because you want to keep them improving. Because you might need one of them at some point during the season. So, great question, Pete. Great question.
Hey, I figured this is the time of year where we get this kind of stuff in, and it's good tips for coaches that are coming up the ranks, too.
Yeah, I say this all the time to people. Pete looks at his job one way, and I look at my job one way, but we both basically do the same thing. We're here to help people. We're here to help. We're here to help, And that's how I see my job. I'm here to help. These young men are going to need jobs after they're done. They need help getting to graduation. They need those type of support. Some of the young men I coach, don't have role models in their lives, and you have to be that too. So it's an all-encompassing job, but it's really something where you can see that you're having a profound impact, and it matters, and that's what keeps me coming back every day.
I hear that. All right,
good ones, Pete.
Where do we jump off today?
Right here, baby. The Dog Bone. We're in the end zone, Dog Bone Award for the week. NCAA, no question about this one. And this was in a loss. And I don't usually like to do this, but this is one of my favorite players of the year. And they went into Illinois, Texas Tech. It was a dogfight. Jacob Toppin, 35 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. He is our NCAA Dog Bone winner of the week. Congratulations, Mr. Jacob Toppin. That and your NIL deal. Get you a little snack at the end of the night. Okay? The only thing I would say with Mr. Toppin, close game. He had 6 turnovers in that game. You got to tighten up that rock a little bit. You got to hold that rock a little bit closer. All right? NBA. Went through a couple of different names here because there's been some great performances thus far. But I had to land on this one. Grayson Allen, the former Duke star, 42 points, 10 threes in 28 minutes.
Wow.
Dog bone out to Grayson Allen of Duke. All right. NBA growth, this is what we call maxing out. Tyrese Maxey, one of the really, really good players in the NBA right now. And this is for young freshmen who are sitting on the bench right now going, why don't I play? I need to transfer. I need to get up and get out of here. You know, you're hearing all of that right now. Tyrese Maxey went into the 76ers in 2021, 8 points a game. Now let's go forward. 21-22, 17 points a game. He's growing. He's getting better. 22-23, 20.3 points a game. 23-24, 25. Let's go all the way up to right now, 25-26. He's averaging 33.2 points, and he's one of the best players in the NBA. It takes time. It takes work. It takes diligence. And it takes sticking to it even when it don't start great. Sometimes you got to see the end of the tunnel before you can see the other side. Okay, NBA baselines, Pete. Huge numbers last week for our show. I was just blown away by that. Okay, but the Lee Majors Fall Guy Award of the Year goes out to, and we were kind of waiting on this one. I think everybody was waiting on this one. But Nico Harrison of the Mavericks was let go, general manager of the Mavericks, relieved of his duties, basically for trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers. He will be remembered.
You don't recover from a move like that.
He might. Now, I'm going to tell you why he might recover. But again, you're right, Pete. He'll be always remembered as the guy who traded Luka to the Lakers. Luka to the Lakers, you can even sound good with it. But here's the reason that I say maybe he comes back, because my conspiratorial mind is flying all over the place today. What if he got a call from the NBA office? And they said, we'll guarantee you Cooper Flag, but you got to trade Luka to the Lakers. That's the way it's going down.
Wow.
This is what people say about the NBA. Now, what if they got a call also from the NBA that said, you guys are in Dallas with the Spurs and you want to go to Vegas, okay? How do you think you're going to get that move approved to Vegas if you don't play ball?
Oh, yeah, right.
So...
Wait a minute, who's running this show?
I say...
Is the mob running this show too?
This is what I said on social media. Nico to the Lakers. Got to bring him in at the Lakers. It's nothing else. It has to be. It's the right thing to do. Bring Nico into the Lakers because he just made them a playoff contender. Bring him in. And again, here's one of the reasons I say that call came.
Somebody subpoenaed LeBron's phone records.
Somebody knocked on the door. Exactly. Let's do a deep dive. Let's get T-Mobile in here. But I say, this is why my conspiracy theory hat goes on. All right? And it doesn't go on for nothing. All right? Number one, you traded one of the best players in the game to a contender. You traded one of the best players in the game to an interconference rival, to an interdivision rival. And you sent him to a team that, at least in my mind, was already better than you. And so you needed to win that trade. Anthony Davis has played 14 games for the Mavericks. He's currently out with a calf injury that somehow requires the owner of the Dallas Mavericks to get into it. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show because there was a little back and forth. Jason Kidd, coach of the Mavericks, is hopeful that the Maverick fans will move on. LeBron James, we've diagnosed it, Pete. We got it. It's sciatica. Sciatica is the reason he hasn't been, and he has been working out with the G League affiliate, the South Bay Lakers.
So he's with his son?
Nope. His son's in the NBA right now.
Oh, his son's
He's
up?
not on a two-way right now. Because he had, I said they got blasted last night, and I said one of the positives about that is Bronny got 8 minutes. So, but here's the Lakers in his 23rd season. Without him, they're 8-4.
That's not a bad thing because you said they need to start learning to win.
Trade him. I really don't know where his value is at right now. You know, what would you get for him? He's in his 23rd season. How many more does he have? If you're trying to dial him up to somebody who's got a really good shot to win it, okay, I can see that. But where are you going to place him? You know, who's going to want him for 3-year, 5-year period?
And is he going to be willing to take a secondary role? Because that's where he's at now.
But it has to be. That's why he's upset, is because Luka's better than him. Right now, in this point of his career, Luka Doncic is putting up better numbers than LeBron. Luka Doncic's putting up better numbers than nearly everybody right now. Okay? They've really just, I don't know. We'll see. Anthony Davis, we talked about this. He needs the owner's approval. Here's what happened. Davis has his own health guys. The Mavericks have their own health guys. The Mavericks people disagreed with Davis's people. Davis's people said, let's give him a try. Let's get him out there. His health is good enough for him to play. The Mavericks come back and go, no, we're going to wait to hear from the owner, who will then say when AD plays again. It's getting ridiculous. Paolo Banchero exits the Magic win over the Knicks in Madison Square Garden with a groin injury. And also, for the other side, the Knicks, Jalen Brunson left in a boot. Not good. Not good. Bradley Beal. This guy is unbelievable. This is the biggest grift in NBA history, really. He has a season-ending injury, a surgery, fracture in his left hip, and the Clippers, he's on the Clippers now. They took him from the Suns. The Clippers got clipped. Dirty Draymond, he's questioning the Warriors' commitment to winning. I'm with you, Draymond. They should trade you immediately. NBA All-Star Game, fiasco, number 27. They're doing it again, Pete. They're going into the All-Star Game. They're forming 3 teams, 2 American, 1 international, America against the world. I don't know how that's America against the world when you have 2 teams of Americans going up against 1 international. If the Clippers are going to host it, I guarantee you, I'll give it to you now, folks, if you have any interest at all. The NBA has an overall approval rating of like a root canal. You know,
why are they doing so many gimmicks? In-season tournament gimmick.
Because it's
All-Star game gimmick.
Because they don't play hard. They come out there and they had 200 points in one game.
I understand that. I mean,
they
any
just
All-Star
stopped
game
playing any
terrible.
defense. You know, but you got to at least have some semblance of a game of basketball, not just a coast-to-coast dunk contest.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why they did it. But again, the guys who are doing it don't know what they're doing. February 13th, 2026, if, and I say if, you have any interest in that at all. Pete, OKC at the top of our Power 15. Let's rock it.
All right.
Pete is killing it with the graphics. I love this. There's the Thunder, 12-1. And when I tell you, folks, they dismantled the Lakers with attitude last night. With attitude. I watched the entire game. They blasted the Lakers. It was not close at any time during the game. They came out focused, and they wanted to show the Lakers, we still got it. We're still number 1, and right now, they're starting to gap the entire rest of the NBA. One of the reasons they haven't is the East Coast surprise is the Detroit Pistons, 10-2. Cade Cunningham leading the way. They've got a great team, and this is a huge, huge eye-opener to the rest of the NBA. You can get it done if you manage your team well and you make the right decisions. The Pistons were the laughingstock of the NBA 2 years ago. Go back to In the Zone clips. We had a segment called Firing on All Pistons, where they were on a losing streak of 20-plus games, and we were just killing them every week for their ineptitude, their poor drafting, their poor coaching choices, everything down the line. But in 2 years right now, they're 10-2, and they're poised at the top of the Eastern Conference. A little bit of a surprise there. Denver Nuggets, 9-2. Adelman's coaching them. They got the best player in the game in the world. So with Jokic, you know, you got something going. I think he's taking his scoring down to facilitate more, to get more people involved. I think that's what Adelman has asked for. And he's averaging 25 a game, which isn't bad, but it's not as usual. Like the top of the NBA is 33. So you would see him usually at that top somewhere. He's a little bit off that, but I think that's because he's trying to do a little bit more what the coaching staff wants to get more people involved. He can't do it all by himself. San Antonio Spurs and the Denver Nuggets right there bunched up against each other. Spurs have been a good story. 8-3, especially with their draft pick Dylan Harper in a boot for 4-6. Not bad. Houston Rockets 7-3. They're climbing. I see them in OKC probably 1-2. I think the Nuggets can hang in there though and make it interesting. The Lakers 8-4. They were playing great until last night. Until they got out on the floor with OKC Thunder. They couldn't do anything right. Everything they were doing went wrong. The Lakers got blasted, but they're still 8-4, and Redick's got a pretty good hold on them right here because most of this has been done without LeBron. Again, the bright spot of that is Bronny got 8 minutes last night. Cleveland Cavaliers, everyone expected them to run right to the top. I wouldn't sell out on them yet. They're good. They're solid. They're going to be fine. But they have a very, very difficult injury. So many injuries right now. Darius Garland going to be out for a while for them. The New York Knicks, 7-4. You want to know what it's like growing up in New York? The Knicks lost their first game in Madison Square Garden last night. Wasn't a good game. They lost, and it was terrible. You know what I saw on social media right after that? Fire Mike Brown.
Already?
The brand new coach. He's in his first year. All of a sudden, right on social media, fire Mike Brown. Welcome to New York, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, the 76ers holding in there. I'm a little concerned about my mercurial guard, VJ Edgecombe. Started out this season on fire, but it's the NBA, folks. Maxi's carrying that team right now. Embiid is not a factor. Paul George hasn't been in the lineup yet. They're getting some good production from some other people, but they're gonna need some of that other help there as well. The Timberwolves, 7-4, solid. I like this team. They're good. Randall's playing very, very well right now. Phoenix Suns, 7-5. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised because I don't think their roster is that good. But Devin Booker is absolutely carrying this team on his back, doing a great job, and they're responding. Milwaukee Bucks, 7-5. It's Giannis. It's Giannis, and it's more Giannis. But then you have Miles Turner playing a good defensive role, rebounding. They got to get better with their guard play. Their guards are just not, NBA caliber backcourt right now. They need to improve on that. Miami Heat, 7-5. Not bad. Not bad for them. Shooting the lights out. Shooting the absolute lights out. And this is without arguably their best player, Tyler Herro. They got a little bit of a beef going up front because my man Kel'el Ware had an amazing game the other day, 20-14, and Bam Adebayo is out. I really think Kel'el Ware is way to go with that future. Here's a surprise, Pete. The Raptors. They're right in the thick of things at 6-5, and their lineup is solid. They've got Quickly. They've got R.J. Barrett. I love Scotty Barnes. They're doing all right if they can hold that together. It's a very fragile existence for Toronto, but I like what they're doing. I'm going to give the Portland Trailblazers our last spot here, Pete. Doing pretty good. Shaedon Sharpe, an emerging young star. Put him down. We were talking about fantasy basketball last week. If you want to get a guy who shows up in a lot of categories, Shaedon Sharpe's your guy, folks. All right, who's hot? NBA. Buster Poindexter. Who's hot? Who's not? Timberwolves have won 3 in a row. The Suns, 4 in a row. The Nuggets, 5 in a row. And the Pistons have won 8 in a row, firing on all Pistons. The Wizards, who's not? Who's not? You're going to say these names all year, folks. The Wizards have lost 10 in a row. The Pacers have lost 5 in a row. I got a little bit of hope for that Pacers team. Maybe they could get it back. If they can ever get Halliburton back, that'll be huge for them. Yeah. But right now, they're at a roster deficit. Clippers have lost 5, and the Bulls, who were at the top of our Power 15 last week in the graphic, Pete had to throw that one out because they're riding a 4-game losing streak. Okay, when we say OOP, yeah, you know me. That's an old song from way back in the day. OOP on In the Zone means you're out of the playoffs after 10 games. The Wizards are 1-11. The Pacers are 1-10. The Nets are 1-10. I give the Net fans a lot of credit because they have maybe the worst absolute roster in the NBA, and those guys just think everything's rosy down there. After the draft they were all clapping like seals in the draft room, and they're talking about we love this guy and love that guy. I'm sitting there going, you passed up on Cedric Coward, who is now the current Rookie of the Year, and drafted Agor Demin, who you might have got at 19. And you passed up on Cedric Coward, and you guys are over there clapping like seals. You passed up on Derek Queen, who's emerging, coming on, big man, 6'11", mad skills. Okay. All right, Rookie of the Year contention right now. Cedric Coward leads it, absolutely leads it. All of the teams that passed on him blew it. What I love about the Cedric Coward story is he's D3. He started out at D3, Pete. Moved up the line to D1. Was supposed to go to Duke last year, which would have made a really good collegiate story. And had he Duke's number one right now, for
Yeah.
sure, But right now I got him penciled in for the Grizzlies as Rookie of the Year. Con Knuppel from the Hornets. He's been shooting the lights out, folks. Cooper Flagg in the 3 spot. He hasn't been great, but it's also 15 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 3 assists a game. He's doing okay.
That's solid for a rookie, man.
Yeah, and it's not like he blew up like everybody thought it was going to. I told you there was some translatables there, but he's going to be fine. He's going to be good. If they can ever get Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving back in uniform, that team can take off. All right, VJ, he's been sliding. Started off really hot. He's been sliding. I'm a little concerned there.
Edge
and the
is about to go
76
over the edge comb.
Yeah, edge comb right over the edge, Pete. Kalkbrenner, I don't know where we drafted him, Pete, but I know he was taken in the second round. I think we had him in the first. He's absolutely leading the NBA in field goal percentage right now, shooting a ridiculous 88%. Unbelievable. Trey Johnson from the Wizards, a little bit of a shaky start there. I like Derek Queen. He's coming on. The Pelicans got to play him. Pelicans are out of the playoffs already. Get your young guys their minutes. Get your team ready. Build them up. Zion Williamson does not appear to be your future. Pete, if you could at all maybe go into our draft of last year and see where did we get Kalkbrenner? Because this is going to be probably one of the latest episodes of We Told You So. I'm going to keep rolling, but if you can find that, I would love it. The Lakers absolutely throttled last night by OKC, 121-92, and it wasn't even that close. Bronny, 8 minutes, 2 assists, 1 rebound. Beautiful. If you're looking for somebody to follow about all this NIL stuff, I'm going to give this guy a shout out on our show. His name is Bill Brooker. I just came up on him on TikTok. I love TikTok. People said to me, oh my God, you go on TikTok? I was like, you don't? It's amazing. It's great stuff. But this guy, Bill Brooker, has been on there about these NIL things, and this is something that we talked about, and I will urge all of our fans to watch him on TikTok because he does a fabulous job, one that I really couldn't illuminate right now to you. But what Mr. Brooker's saying is that it's kind of the same thing we've been saying. Where are the offsets? When you're detailing revenue, money brought in by X amount of people, where are the offsets of all the money spent? Because now you're giving millions of dollars away to people who are playing your sport, but you're losing and hemorrhaging money as an athletic department. We talked about this a year ago. Rutgers out $50 million. UConn out $30 million, And now you're talking about this guy goes into the University of Houston and Rice. He says the University of Houston lost $38 million last year. Kind of average, kind of average. And what used to happen is it's kind of a weird, it's an accounting trick really, is because they would run deficits in the past. And what they would do is augment the deficit and say we broke even for the year. So what you were doing was taking some school money or whatever money and flushing it into this thing and saying, because if you look at the bottom line of almost every Division I program, I was shocked when I looked at this. It's like the same number on either side. It's like, how did you really get to that level of accounting where you're getting $28 million on one side and $28 million on the other? You spent every single dollar you had, and every dollar was right up to the dollar of what you budgeted for. It's a joke. It's a clown show. All right. But what they're saying is they lost this money. They're going to get, $12 million in revenue next year from the Big 12, which is great. But in his estimation, it's going to cost them another $28 million just to get caught up with the Big 12 NIL situation.
All right, you had him at number 17.
I had Kalkbrenner at 17. We love it, Pete. Look at it, right up there. They took him at 34. Had him at 17, and you're going to see a bunch of guys they took instead of him. They're not even out on the floor right now. Nolan Traore's in the G League. The Nets draft, I still shake my head. But again, he's talking about Rice. Rice is, their moribund athletics program, hemorrhaging money, putting in $100+ million for a new stadium in football when I can't tell you the last time Rice has been good in football.
Yeah, really.
I know they're in Texas. I know they're in a great spot, but they're an academic school as well. Rice is a very, very good academic school, and they don't take all the guys that everybody else takes. So who knows? Who knows? But right now, Mr. Brooker's out there illuminating, and I think people, if they want to, would take a look at it. All right, here's the NBA, Pete. I saw this, and I liked it, ranking the last 10 champions. Okay? The 10 champs of 2017, number one, the Warriors. That was a good team. They wound up cleaning it, and they had a great 3-year run there where they were dominant. And then you got the Celtics, number two. Their 2024 championship team was a great team. Yeah. Really had a great regular season, went all the way through. Awesome lineup, ready to go. Number three, the Warriors again. This is 2018. This is what we're talking about. 17, 18, right in that gap there. The Warriors were the dominant team in the NBA. Number four, the Cavaliers of 2016. People will remember, I believe that was LeBron James's year with the Cavs. All right, you got the Thunder. 2025 last year, you got to move them up. They're no way in the 5-hole. That team was amazing last year. Ran through with the best record in it and went boom, 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 outgo the lights in the playoffs. Nobody was even close to them. So I would move them up a little bit. The Raptors in 2019, just for the sheer, the surprise of it all. The Nuggets in 2023, I like that Nuggets team. They were deep. That's an NBA deep team. All right. The Warriors again in 2022, what a run they had. The Lakers in 2020, that was that. I don't even know how you can even consider that. That was that bubble with COVID and all that other stuff. It wasn't even a real season. And we got the Bucks. The 2021 Bucks, where Giannis got his ring. Here's a segment I've been waiting to do, Pete, because Cade Cunningham, I love Cade Cunningham. He came out, and somebody said to me, "You're going to have to give Cade Cunningham a dog bone this week." And I said, "Over my dead body." Okay, Cade Cunningham he had 40-something points, and it was, he went crazy. He was 14 of 45.
Ooh.
He took 45 shots. And I love the guy. But he right now is our number one bricklayer of all time in the NBA with 31 misses in that game. Number two, this is going to surprise some people. Number two, Kobe, 30 misses. Number three, Kobe, 28 misses. He didn't stop shooting, I can tell you that. Russell Westbrook, 27, no surprise there. Stackhouse, 27, no surprise there. Michael Jordan, 6th on the list with 27 misses. I was shocked by that one. DeJounte Murray, 26. Harden, of course he's here. He has to be here. It's hard to be Harden, 26. Rudy Gay of UConn and Damon Stoudemire, both at 26. Right now, Pete, our MVP is Giannis. SGA, Luka, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, the Joker, Cade Cunningham, and Austin Reeves, who's averaging 36 points and 9 assists for the Lakers. Right now, it's SGA. The winning matters. All right, in the stats, we go Giannis at 33.4, SGA 32.8, Maxey 32.1, Mitchell 30.4, Reeves, Austin Reeves, 5th in the NBA in scoring, although after last night, OKC shut him down pretty good. They're going to have to reevaluate those numbers. Rebounding, it's always Sabonis at top. Joker in 2-hole. Wembayana, 3rd. You got the big cat, Karl Anthony Towns, 4th. And Jalen Duren having a great year in the NBA. Jalen Duren. Blocks, Wembayana leads. Assist, Joker. All right, let's jump into the NCAA. We alluded to the fact that UConn was up 48-5. It was 45-2 over UMass Lowell. And UMass Lowell jumped up from Division II a bunch of years ago. They've been in the America East Conference, doing pretty well. But I was shocked to see that level. I mean, UConn didn't even do that to Columbia. So I was shocked to see UMass Lowell. But then, congratulations to New Haven, Ted Hotaling. They've been out on the road a little bit and at home a little bit against some Power Fours. They finally got their first Division I win. And who did they get it against, Pete? UMass Lowell. Not sure what's going on up there. Okay, former Cleveland State coach Kevin Mackey passes away at age 80 from a heart attack. He is one of the first Cinderella stories in the NCAA history. Coach Mackey took a Cleveland State team in and knocked off Bobby Knight and the Indiana Hoosiers. who also came back and won the national title the year after that. But it was an 83-79 upset of the Hoosiers, and they were very, very close to getting into the Elite Eight, that team. Really, really good team. Very, very elated. And when we say elated, we are sky over the moon. Chris Caputo of George Washington received a well-deserved contract extension. The people at GW love what's happening in that basketball program right now, and a very, very good move by them to make sure that Coach Caputo's happy and sticking around for a while, because they got it going on right now. We're going to talk about the Revs a little bit later in the show. All right, Darren Peterson of Kansas, he sits out with a tightened hamstring. They blew somebody out, so they didn't need him. Krzyzewski returns to Army, his alma mater. And it was a Duke game at Army, really cool. It just wasn't competitive. It was bad. I will give you a little bit of something. Keep an eye on the Boozer twins, because their assist numbers are ridiculous. Caden Boozer is really, really passing the ball well, and that's helping Duke right now because they got some great, great players on that team. All right, a couple of more baselines for you. Then we're going to run into our Super 25 of the basketball NCAA world. Former Cleveland State coach again, rest in peace, Kevin Mackey. All right, we're up to this is one, a little bit of a story that I wanted to throw out. I played in high school for a gentleman by the name of Larry Burns, who passed away recently. We mentioned him on the show. Coach Burns was a New York State Hall of Fame coach and just a great guy. And he coached me at a place called Cathedral Prep. And we both wound up leaving the school in the same year, me to go to Sacred Heart and realize my dreams of playing in a Catholic high school league team. And Coach Burns also went to the collegiate school, which is an independent school in New York and one of, if not the finest academic schools in the entire country, certainly in New York. And they had an admissions director by the name of Bruce Breimer, who's the reason that Coach Burns went to collegiate. And Bruce Breimer just passed away recently, an icon in the collegiate community, 77th right off Broadway for many, many years. And Bruce Breimer is the reason that Larry Burns went to school there. So a lot of people that might not know the story, I asked Coach Burns one time, I said, what was the real tipping point that made you decide to leave Cathedral Prep to go to collegiate? Because that had to be a big move for you. And he said, yeah, I wasn't really planning on taking the collegiate job, but they called me for an interview. They were excited, and I went over and I wanted to talk to them. And he says, I met with this gentleman named Bruce Breimer, and Breimer slid a piece of paper across the table to me, and he said, write down the salary number that you want. Wow. And Larry Burns said, I wrote down the most ridiculous number that I could possibly think of at that time, slid it back across the desk to Breimer, and he said, done. And I didn't have any choice at that moment but to accept the job. And that's the story of Bruce Breimer and Larry Burns. The teams they had at collegiate were unbelievable. New York State's one of New York State's finest, and Coach Burns obviously in the Hall of Fame. If collegiate has a Hall of Fame, you're going to be throwing Bruce Breimer in there very, very soon. Pete, Super 25. I went off the beaten path, folks. I'm going to tell you right now. Those Ken Palm guys, all of those people, they're making me nuts, okay? Because they're giving all of these cannoli-devouring people their kudos and their reward when there's other people out there lacing it up, going at the real big ones, okay? Why is Alabama number one, Pete? Because they went into Madison Square Garden and they took apart Rick Pitino's top 5 St. John's team. Wow. Everybody else is ducking, not Nate Oates, and they look good. Number 2, Arizona, 3-0. Why are they 2, Pete? Because they went in and dismantled the NCAA national champions, Florida, with their freshman Koa Pete being absolutely dominant. That matters to me. Number 3, Louisville. Why? They went into Kentucky, which is the Hatfields and the McCoys. Believe me, yeah, they dismantled Kentucky. Louisville's really, really good. Gonzaga, 3-0. You say, why? Why? They dismantled Greg McDermott's Creighton team. They ran them out of the gym by 30. Let me tell you, they're deep, they're long, and they got talent. That Gonzaga team, I'm going to tell you right now, any of you guys that love to gamble, love to throw something down, this could be Mark Few's year. That team is loaded. Houston, 3-0. Everybody has them at number 1. Ken Palm, number 1. Why aren't they number 1 with us? Because Kelvin Sampson's eating cannolis. He's devouring cupcakes. We want to see you play somebody a little bit better than who you have. UConn at 6. This team looks fired up, ready to go. Danny Hurley has them going at a throttle level, and they are playing good basketball. Really, really good basketball. I'm a big Tarris Reed fan, and he's been very, very good. I'm not a big Caravan fan for the NBA, but in the NCAA, man, he's a great, great player. And if you want to see some excitement between him and a coaching staff, go back and look at the dunk he had last week where he got away, caught one on the open floor, caught a dunk, and then when he went to the bench, because I don't think he's known as a high flyer, but he went to the bench and Hurley was fired up. Luke Murray was over there fired up. The whole coaching staff was jumping up and down. Great moment for them. I go Duke at 3-0. They have a couple of cannolis here, but they also played Texas. Good game. They're solid. I want to see more. Illinois, 3-0. The Euro invasion is working. They've got it going, and they've got this young man, Stojakovic, coming off their bench that is unbelievable player that came over from the West Coast. Purdue, 2-0. I like Purdue. I think they're going to rise in our Super 25, but again, they haven't played anybody right now. We're not going to put them over Alabama and Arizona and Louisville that have played top 25 teams and come out victorious. That's how we do it. I understand they have their weapons of math destruction, but we don't play that. Iowa State, 3-0. To me, Lipsey's healthy. Momcilovic had a monster game the other day. They're pretty good. If they can keep it rolling, I think they're going to be okay. And I would say T.J. Otzelberger probably has one of the best bench pressers of all the coaches in the country. Saw him on the sidelines the other day. He's beef. He looks good. He looks ready and fired up to take on the season. BYU, 3-0. I want to see you play somebody, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I like them. They've got a deep, deep team. Wisconsin, 3-0. Here's a name for you, John Blackwell. One of the best in the country underneath the covers right now. Michigan, 2-0. Again, they're doing well. It's going to be a good team. I'm not a huge Elliot Cadeau fan. I did enjoy watching him get dunked on the other day. That was something to see. Indiana, 3-0. This team's back, Pete. Darren DeVries, they got it going on. This Indiana team is good. They're deep, they're loaded, and they are very, very well coached. You're going to see Indiana rise. They're going to have a real good shot in the Big Ten. Tennessee, 6'10", probably 100-pound freshman Nate Ament. He's skinny, but boy, he can play. He can go get it. A little concern of me in the NBA, but he's 6'10" with guard skills. That always matters. Vanderbilt, say it. Mark Byington, where was he before? James Madison, what did they do? They went on a run. They had a great deep dive. Now he's at Vanderbilt with a big NIL budget. He's a great coach. They're going to be good. Promising days ahead for the Vandy boys. I got them in at 16. All right, Pete, we go to North Carolina. Ain't nothing finer than North Carolina. 3-0. Got to talk about Caleb Wilson for a minute. I'm trying to figure out, he's not Michael Jordan, but I'm trying to figure out what North Carolina player he reminds me of the most. And I think it might be Vince Carter.
Really?
This kid can play. This kid's really good. They have Henry Visar. This team is going to be the team, I think, that can make a move and get going. All right? Let's keep rolling here, Pete. 18, Missouri. Nobody has this team in their top. Ken Pom has them at 28, but nobody, Torvik has them even lower than that. Mark Mitchell is a Duke transfer. One of the things that I was really, really surprised and impressed with was their home court advantage. Mamma mia, those fans are crazy. They're all over the place, and when you go to play Missouri, you better pack a lunch. You better pack a lunch because they're unbelievably intense about their business out there, and Mark Mitchell is going to be an NBA. He'll be up there in the first round for us, I believe.
Sounds like a Bona Nation situation.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We got Mississippi. I like him. 3-0. This guy can coach. You may not like him personally, but Chris Beard can coach. Everywhere he's been, they've been good. And if you really want to know, everywhere he hasn't been, after he's been, has gone downhill. Texas has not been the same. I think Sean Miller can rectify that, but it's going to take some time. Going to take some time. UCLA 3-0. We'll see what happens when the travel schedule kicks in, the Big Ten, all of that stuff that goes with it. But right now they're 3-0 and they're doing well. They've got talent, no question about it. NC State. This could be a team that I hope can jump into the top of the ACC and make some noise. You know, I need somebody to beat Duke. I need somebody to beat Louisville that isn't named Duke in Louisville. So NC State probably going to, Will Wade can coach, and he was a little bit of a fall guy, Lee Majors fall guy also in that whole FBI thing, because he's really one of the only head coaches that got sent to McNeese State. Turned it around. Now he's back. NC State's going to be really good over the next couple of years, folks. Clemson, Brownell, can't go wrong. They're 3-0, and all they do is win. Michigan State, 2-0. Izzo, this whole thing's getting to Izzo. He's fighting. He's still strong. He's stoic. He's a stoic man. But this whole thing's getting to him. This whole thing's getting to him. The NIL, the portal, all the craziness, it's getting to him. Baylor, 2-0. Saw him the other night. Really, really athletic and playing good defense again. That's Coach Drew's staple. The year they won the national title, they had one of the best defenses in the country over the past 10 years. And then I went and saw Houston. Houston's rising, great defense. Those two programs have the ability in Texas to get great athletes and be really, really good on both sides of the ball. Okay, Pete, here we go. 25. We are super, super pumped to announce in our 25 spot the GW Revolutionaries. Now, people are going to say, Rich, you coached a young man, you're biased. I am. I'm going to tell you right now. But let me tell you who else he's been associated with. Jack Curran was his high school coach. He played in college for me and was captain. He worked with Jim Larinaga at George Mason and now at Miami. The GW job, people always thought in this business was a good one, but I think they've outshot their expectations too. New contract for Coach Caputo, so well-deserved. But you got to watch this team. They dismantled American the other night, and they were never, never in doubt. They beat South Florida in Mohegan Sun the other day, which is a very, very credible win. I looked at their schedule. I think they're going to float for a while here, folks. And again, I know people, that like to prognosticate about these things, and they have lots of different things going up. Put GW on the top of your A10 right now. Put them on the top of your A10 right now. I've seen VCU. Wow. I've seen a little bit of Dayton. I've seen some of it. The bottom of the A10 is cratering. And I think you're going to be able to go in and watch GW this year, elevate, separate, and really, really coagulate into a great, great team. Pete, we got Player of the Year for you. People are going to love this all year long because this is going to be a rough one. It's going to be, I think, a little bit like the NBA MVP, where last year it was SGA Joker. Now you're going to see Giannis in that mix. You're going to see Tyrese Maxey in that mix. There's going to be some other players that climb in there for us to discuss. Obviously, again, SGA running. He's running away. And Joker, those two guys, again, they're separating themselves. But Giannis belongs in there. Tyrese Maxey belongs in there. And there's a few other guys that we've discussed that I think can go in there as well. But in the NCAA right now, Jacob Toppin, Texas Tech, I love him. Always have. Came over from New Mexico. He's with Texas Tech. Probably top 15 on our draft board. He's a super, super player. He's got brothers in the NBA already. He's just a super, super young man as well. Number 2, this is not in any order, but after watching Koa Pete dismantle, I was a big Alex Condon fan, and I still am. 7-footer out of Florida, national title under his belt. He walked into a rookie who absolutely destroyed him. He destroyed their whole front line. Ruben Chinule, nowhere to be found. Nobody could handle this young man. And this is Arizona's driving force right now. It's a one-and-done situation, but if you don't have him in your top 3 in the NBA, you're crazy. AJ Dabansa, BYU, probably my number 1 in the NBA draft right now. Probably my number 1. There isn't a skill he doesn't have. He competes. He plays at a high level. He can shoot. He can pass. He can handle. He's 6'8", and he's a super, super athlete. I think he's built for the NBA right now. Like to see him get a little stronger in his upper body, personally, before he hits the NBA. But that can be done at BYU. Okay, we're fighting the throat business here today because we're in the middle of the season. Cam Boozer from Duke. Got to be in consideration. I'm excited to see what comes out of this, because he was a little inconsistent in the first half the other night, got ripped up by Coach Sutter a little bit, responded, came out, and really punched the clock in the second half. But if that kind of inconsistency continues, Duke's going to have a rough year. If he can beat Cooper Flagg, that's great. But they don't have Con Knuppel. They don't have Kaman Malak on this team. They're missing some pieces. And I think right now, if I had to pick the winner of the ACC right now, I'm going Louisville. I'm going Louisville after watching them dismantle Kentucky the other night. And one of the reasons is, next piece up, Michael Brown from Louisville, freshman. Guard, terrific. NBA scouts love this young man. I'll give you a comparison. Devin Booker. He's a lot like Devin Booker. Really, really good. Okay, you got Caleb Wilson from North Carolina doing great stuff. Really, really an impressive player. With everything going on around him, I've seen him in the post-game comments. I've seen his social media. He's really put together young man. And he's the kind of guy that can really help North Carolina. They got a big inside. Henry Visar for North Carolina, tremendous. But here's one of the things that I absolutely love about the college basketball world. People come out of nowhere. And you're thinking about this guy's going to be MVP, and this guy's player of the year, and this guy's rookie of the year. And then Virginia Tech against Providence the other day, I believe that was the follow-up game to GW and USF. Neo Avdalas comes out for Virginia Tech. Nobody had even heard of him. Exactly. Pete turned into an owl all of a sudden. Who? But, oh, my God. 6'10", 6'11", Greek player from the Greek pro leagues over there. Unbelievable. He's got skills. 6'10", 6'11", can shoot it, can handle it, pass it. His dribble sequences and moves are tremendous, and he's shot ready. That's what I like about him. He's always shot ready. Pete, I think we're mostly done.
Yep.
Got a great run here. Folks, again, we want to say thank you to all of you for supporting the show, for giving us a show. We want to say thank you also to Evan from White Oak last week, who came out. Alex Schindel joined us last week, and it was fun to have him in the zone. And I got to be honest with you, folks, Pete really lights up when that stuff happens, because that's Pete's world. And these young people that are coming in to learn, they could not in a million years find a better mentor than Pete to work with and for. And I think that's the beauty of what we're doing right here is we're growing in all directions. But since I don't have Evan this week, I'm going to have to lay it out for all of you. Folks, we love you. We're proud of you. We'll see you next week in the zone, baby, in the zone.